Good evening aspirants, welcome to daily editorial analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 24th November 2024. Displayed here are the list of topics that we are going to discuss today. The first topic is about uncertain tax. It was taken from Indian Express newspaper. This topic explains about the issues in GST system and what are the reforms that can be done to improve the efficiency of GST system. The second topic, India's steel frame does need a check. This is taken from Hindu newspaper, and this editorial talks about the issues regarding the Indian civil service system and what can be done to improve the efficiency of Indian civil services. So these are the two important topics regarding the mains exam preparation. So now let us get into the discussion. Now look at this article. It talks about the importance of Indian civil service system and what are the issues pertaining in Indian civil services. The article also discusses what are the reforms that can be done to improve the efficiency of Indian civil services. So these are the things discussed in this news article. Let us discuss about the role of civil services, issues within the civil services, and what can be the reforms that can be done to improve the Indian civil service system. So this is what we are going to discuss in this news article discussion. Now look at the mains question regarding this topic. The Indian civil service system has been central to India's administrative structure post-independence. Critically analyze the challenges faced by Indian civil services in meeting the demands of modern governance and suggest reforms for their improvement. So this is a straightforward question. It has three subtopics. Firstly, it asks about the role of civil services in Indian governance, especially about the post-independence period. So we have to write about the importance of civil services as a first subtopic. The second subtopic is about the challenges faced by Indian civil services. The third topic is about the suggesting reforms to enhance their efficiency. So these are the three topics that has to be covered for this mains answer. So this is what we are going to discuss in this news discussion. The Indian Civil Services was inherited from British Indian Civil Service (ICS). After independence, the civil services was governed by Article 312. So this civil services comprises all India services, central civil services, and also the state services. So the important work of the civil service is to ensure the policy implementation, to enhance the public service delivery, and to maintain the law and order. So we are seeing about the role of civil service elaborately in the next slide. Now what is the importance of civil service in a democracy? The first importance is policy implementation. See, the civil servants are the one who implement the policies to the people or citizens at the ground level. So the government or the ruling party may formulate the policy and the civil servants are implementing the policy. So they are the policy implementers. So they act as a bridge between the policy formulators and the policy receivers. So this is an important function of civil servant. The next one is continuity and stability. If we take continuity, the ruling parties may rule for 5 years or over a period of time and they leave. Sometimes the government may topple down, but the civil servants stay there for a longer period of time and they ensure the continuity of policy formulation and also the implementation of initiatives. So they provide stability and continuity in the public service delivery system. So this is a second important function of civil servants. The third one is advisory role. See, the government is run by a ruling party which consists of ministers, MPs, MLAs. They may not have specialization in policy formulation. So the civil servants help them to formulate policy according to the changing needs of society. So they also advise the government in policy formulation and they also focus on implementation of those policies. So advisory role to the government is another important role of civil servants. Next one is rule of law. See, civil servants at the ground level has to ensure the law and order maintenance. So the district collectors or superintendent of police are involved in ensuring the law and order of the district. So civil servants play important role in maintaining the law and order. The next one is public service delivery. As I have said earlier, the civil servants are focused on policy implementation. So they provide the public services to the citizens from the government. So they act as a bridge between the government and citizens. So these are some of the importance or the roles of civil servants in a democracy. Now let us see some of the initiatives taken by Indian government to strengthen the civil service system. The first important initiative is Mission Karmayogi. It was introduced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2020. This mission involves the capacity building and training of civil servants in all spheres of civil services like digital training, giving them knowledge about specialized services, capacity building and leadership training. So in all spheres of services, the civil servants are trained under this mission. So this mission was implemented by the Civil Servant Training Academies, and it also has a specialized digital training platform called IGOT, and it involves the capacity building of civil servants in India. So this is an important initiative regarding the capacity building program of civil servants. The next one is the Induction and Mid-Career Training Program, MCTP. So this was conducted by Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, that is Labasna, and it is also done by other institutes and police academies. So this will equip the officers with updated knowledge for day-to-day services and contemporary issues. There are many other leadership training programs. So the civil servants has to be the best leaders of their services. So leadership development programs like Advanced Management Program in Public Policy has been created. This is in collaboration with IIM, IITs and ISP and international universities for global exposure. So civil servants from India are trained with the help of international institutions to help the global exposure and learning from the global leaders. So this is about the leadership development programs. The next is specialized cadre training. See, civil servants often lack a specialized training because they are generalist. So sector specific trainings are given under Smart Cities Mission and Ayushman Bharat Mission. So for example, if you take the Smart Cities Mission, it requires specialized knowledge in civil engineering or infrastructure development. While you take Ayushman Bharat scheme, it requires a specialized knowledge in healthcare training, etc. So the civil servants who are implementing the policies in Ayushman Bharat in Smart Cities Mission require specialized training in those areas. So the specialized training are also given under Mission Karmayogi. Please note that the National Civil Services Day was celebrated on April 21 every year. Prime Minister will give awards to the civil servants every year on this day for excellent civil servants. So this will boost their confidence and encourage them better for the public service delivery system. So these are some of the initiatives taken by Indian government to enhance the effectiveness of Indian civil service system. Now let us see the important challenges in civil services. The first one is politicization. See, often the political parties and political leaders interfere in the functioning of civil servants or bureaucrats. So frequent transfer and political interference in the civil services often decrease the efficiency of the civil service system. The next one is a lack of specialization. As I said earlier, the civil servants are generalist and they have only generalist training. So they lack a specialized training, and this has to be compensated with the special training of the government. Now the government has introduced Mission Karmayogi and similar schemes to enhance the specialized training of civil servants. So this lack of specialization is a major challenge in effective functioning of the civil service system. The next one is corruption and accountability. See, many civil servants are honest officers, but there are some servants who are caught with corruption. So this will erode the public trust and reduces the accountability of the civil servants. Another important challenge is rigid hierarchy. The main issue in the bureaucrat system is a red tapeism. See, a simple file has to be transferred across 40 tables before it reaches a citizen. So this huge delay in decision making process will impact the efficiency of civil service system and also erodes the public trust on the bureaucrats. So the rigid hierarchy and red tapeism is another important challenge. The next one is inadequate training. See, the inefficient focus on the contemporary issues. For example, the civil servants lack the knowledge on contemporary issues like climate change or digital governance or cyberbullying, etc. The next important challenge is resistance to change. Whenever there is a reform initiated by the government for civil services, the first resistance is from the civil servants itself. So their resistance to change and the internal resistance from the civil servants are delaying the reforms that has to be done to improve the efficiency of civil services. So the civil servants are major resistant for the change, for the reforms. The next one is inequitable representation. Still, the civil services are dominated by few communities or major classes of society. So the marginalized section are not properly or underrepresented in the civil services. So this underrepresentation of marginalized community is also impacting the public service delivery system. The next challenge is over workload. So due to inefficient HR management and red tapeism, there is excessive workload on bureaucrats, and this is impacting their efficiency of decision making. The last and important challenge is limited public communication. The bureaucrats are having a poor communication with the citizens, and this is impacting the public service delivery. So these are major challenges regarding the civil service system in India. Now let us see what can be the reforms. So these are some of the reforms that can be done to improve the efficiency of civil services. The first one is merit-based recruitment. We have to strengthen the domain expertise in recruitment through merit-based recruitment and training. The next one is lateral entry expansion. There has to be expansion of lateral entry intake for specialized roles. So the experience and specialization of lateral entry candidates have to be used in the civil services and bureaucratic system. So this will improve the efficiency of civil services in specialized areas like healthcare and water resource management, etc. And nextly, about the performance based promotion. See, the promotions are given based on the years of experience, and it should also be given based on the performance of the civil servants. So this will encourage them to perform better. The training and capacity building. See, the training of the civil servants should focus on the contemporary issues and developments like artificial intelligence, machine learning, the cyber threat, and climate change and digital governance. So in these areas, there should be focus on training and capacity building to the civil servants. So this will help them to address the contemporary issues more effectively. Then accountability mechanisms. To reduce the corruption and accountability issues, the bodies like Lokpal and technology-driven transparency have to be improved. The next one is depoliticization. The bureaucrats have to be protected against the arbitrary transference and political interference from the ruling parties. So this will ensure the stability of civil servants in their policy implementation. Next one is the focus on specialization. As we have discussed earlier, the civil servants have to be trained on specialized areas where they provide their services. The grievance redressal system have to be strengthened, and more diverse and inclusion have to be encouraged. So these are some of the important reforms that has to be done to improve the efficiency of civil services. So in this discussion, we have seen what is the importance of civil service in a democracy, what are the initiatives taken by government to improve the efficiency of civil services, and what are the challenges regarding the civil service system in India, and what are the reforms that can be done to improve their efficiency. So these are important topics for mains exam preparation. Note these keywords. It will be useful for writing a mains answer. Let us move on to the next newspaper analysis. Now look at this article. It is talking about the issues in GST system and what are the reforms that can be done to improve the GST performance. So this is what we are going to discuss in this news article discussion. We are going to discuss about the direct tax, indirect tax, what are the basics about the tax system, and what are the achievements of GST system, and what are the issues and challenges regarding the GST performance. So this is what we are going to discuss in this news article discussion. Firstly, let us start with the basics. What is a direct tax, what is indirect tax, and what is the difference between them? See, a tax is something like a financial charge which is levied by the government on a citizen. If you take direct tax, it is levied on the person who creates the income or wealth. In indirect tax, it is levied on the consumer of the goods and services or the products. So this is why it is called as direct tax and indirect tax. The examples of direct taxes are income tax, corporate tax, wealth tax, and property tax. If you take corporate tax, it is levied on the companies that create profit. If you take the wealth tax, it is levied on the person who is creating the asset. Likewise, the property tax is levied on the person who is holding the property, like buying a land, a real estate business, etc. So these are the direct taxes. The examples of indirect taxes are GST, customs duty, excise duty, and VAT, value added taxation. So the customs duty, excise duties are all eliminated, and now we only have GST. So this is a comprehensive tax on all goods and services in India. So now we have one taxation and one nation system by GST. Now let us see some basic information about GST. So GST was introduced in 2017 by 101st Constitutional Amendment Act 2016. So it is a comprehensive indirect tax and it replaced many existing central and state taxes. It replaced the excise duties, the central excise duties, state excise duties, and many other taxes. So now we have only one taxation system, that is GST. So it is a destination based taxation because it is levied on the consumers or the end receivers of the goods and services. So it is a destination based taxation. The GST has subsumed many taxes that has existed before implementation of GST. If you take central taxes, there existed excise duty, service tax, customs duty, central sales tax, etc. So all these taxes of central taxes are subsumed under GST. So they are made into one tax, that is GST. The state government also issued taxes and they are also subsumed under GST. The state taxes were VAT tax, entry tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax, octroi. So these various kinds of taxes levied by state government are also brought under one nation, one taxation system, that is GST. Now why GST was implemented? See, before implementation of GST, there are various issues in Indian taxation system. One important issue is cascading effect. So cascading effect means, for example, if you take cotton is produced by the farmer and he sells the cotton to the cloth manufacturer. So when the cotton is sold by the farmer to the cloth manufacturer, he charges some amount as a taxation. And then when it comes from the cloth manufacturer to the retail seller, there is an additional taxation on the taxation amount which is levied by the farmer. So when the retail seller sells the cotton cloth to the consumer, he in turn puts a taxation on the already taxed amount. So in every stage of product development, the taxation is multiplied. So this cascading effect is eliminated by GST. So the GST is implemented only on the destination, that is on the consumer, and the intermediate parties are given input tax credit which they can collect from the GST offices. Next, the GST has reformed the multiplicity of taxes. See, there are many taxes, as we have seen earlier. There are many taxes under central government and there are many taxes under state government. So all these taxes are subsumed under one taxation system. Next is high compliance burden. See, in all these multiple taxes, they require to be filed in various offices. So it has high compliance burden, and now since every taxation has been brought under the one system, that is GST, the compliance burden is reduced due to GST and also due to the digital governance introduced in the GST system. The next important issue is lack of uniformity. See, previously to the GST implementation, the state government has been levying many taxes separately and the central government has been levying many taxes. So there was no uniform taxation system in India. So this was rectified by the introduction of GST. So these are some of the issues that has been rectified by GST system. Now let us have a look at the GST tax slab. The essential goods like fresh products and books have no GST, that is 0% of GST tax. The packaged food and transport services, affordable housing, and these products are given 5% taxation. Processed food, footwear, mid-range hotels, there was 12% of GST. Most of the goods and services like electronics and restaurants, they tax 18%, and the luxury items are given 28% under GST regime. So this taxation system varies and the tax slab varies over a period of time. Now there are two types of GST. One is central GST and state GST. Another one is integrated GST. This CGST and SGST are given for intrastate supplies, that is the goods and services transmitted inside the state. When the goods or services are transferred from one state to another, they are levied integrated GST, that is IGST. This IGST is for interstate supplies and it is also levied on the imports, that is from the goods from another country. So the imports are also levied on integrated GST. Now looking at the advantages of GST. As we have seen earlier, the GST has simplified the taxation system. It also simplified the compliance burden and it also simplified the multiple tax system which was prevalent in the country. It also eliminated the cascading effect by introducing the input tax credit system. The GST has improved the ease of doing business, that is it has reduced the compliance burden for both the payers of GST and also for the government. The GST system has boosted the interstate trade and it also reduced the logistic cost. Overall, the GST system has expanded the tax base of the country. It has brought more taxpayers under the GST regime. So this enhanced the revenue generation of the government. So these are some of the achievements of GST. Now finally, let us see some challenges regarding the GST system. The first one is the compliance by small business. See, there are frequent filings and digital requirements as demanded by the GST regime. So the small businesses often face problems in the compliance and they often face burden in filing the GST. The next one is exclusion. The products like alcohol, petroleum and real estate are kept outside of the GST regime. So this has some concerns regarding this exclusion. The next one is multiple tax slab. See, as we have seen earlier, 28%, 18%, 5%, 0%, like the tax slabs vary for various products. So this multiple tax slabs have added complexity to the already existing complex system. See, the GST have reduced the multiplicity of taxes, that is, it has reduced the number of taxes existed in the country, but it has introduced more tax slabs into the GST system. So this is also a multiplicity of tax system. Then the GST on healthcare insurance. See, there was 18% GST on policies for healthcare which exceeded 5 lakh. So this is also an important challenge in GST. So these are some of the challenges regarding GST regime. And in this discussion, we have seen what are the basics of taxation system, that is direct tax, indirect tax, and what are the basics of GST system, what are the achievements of GST, and finally we have seen the challenges of GST regime. Now look at this main question regarding this topic. Taxation should be inclusive and progressive. However, the 101 amendment of the Constitution still needs to work a lot to achieve inclusivity and progress. Evaluate. So for this answer, we have to write about how the taxation should be inclusive and progressive. So what are the importance of taxation in terms of inclusion and progression? Then we have to write about 101 constitutional amendment, that is the GST system, and what has to be done to achieve inclusivity and progress. We have to suggest the reforms that has to be done to the GST system. So this is how this question should be approached. So with this, let us conclude the discussion. With this, we have come to the end of the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.